My friend in West Virginia brought me 2 boxes of pennies when we met up a while back. One of them he picked up at a bank that were, I think the bank rolled them themselves at this particular bank. And then this one is sealed. We'll pop this one open too. And we'll see what we get. I'm looking forward to going through these. I checked both sides from the sealed box, and there was no enders to speak of. This is actually the second roll that I'm going through of the box that the bank seals rolls them themselves. The first roll I got 17 coppers, which is pretty good. If I could get that, that's well over the 3-pound average that I'm looking for. So. Hoping to get over 3 pounds and at least 10 wheat pennies. It's kind of my goal for each box. These came from Eastern West Virginia, from my friend brought to me when we met up a few weeks ago. I'm certainly not going to bore you with every roll, just this one, and then I'll just start coming back when I find Canadian or a wheat penny, and then we'll go through a few of them together. There's a fine looking one. A few little scuffs on it. Oh, on his shoulder there I see several scuffs, so that's a very nice one except for that, but I probably won't keep it because of that. It's a nice one though. I think it's pretty good copper. This is my 5th roll, and this thing was so beaten out and flattened out, I couldn't hardly push it out of the roll. I don't know how they got it in there, but I weighed it. It is zinc, so I'll manage to get it back into a roll when I take them back to the bank. If you're keeping up with the copper prices, copper is inching back up again. It had gotten down to, the pennies were worth about 2.37 cents each. Now it's inched its way back up to 2.42. You know, will this trend keep going this time? It's hard to say. We'll just have to see. Silver's dropped a little bit this week, but it's hanging right around the high 22 and low 23 mark. Haven't found any wheat pennies or anything yet. I'm on track to being over 3 pounds. I think I figured up a while back, as long as you're getting between an average of between 8 and 9 coppers per roll, that you'll get 3 pounds in a box, and I'm definitely that. I've had several rolls over 10, but 1 or 2 underneath my 8, so I'm doing fine as far as that's concerned. I hope I find some wheat pennies in this bunch. I've weighed a few 83s to no avail, like usual. I am on the 8th roll here, and right on the end of the roll is a King George. I love finding these coins. They're Canadian collectors, I tell you. Oh, and it looks like about 4 coins behind it is a 12-sided Canadian. Those are from 82 to 96, I believe. What year do we have here? 1946. Man, that's really cool. I like finding these a lot. Got a handful of them now. If you read about the Canadian coins, they say to hoard all the ones from Queen Elizabeth and on up to 96 is all copper, but to save all of these as numismatic collectible and older. Very cool. $1993. Pretty neat. Well, it'd be nice to find a wheat penny in this row too. Wow. That's what I call the gnarly ones. I think I'll weigh this one. Yeah. I didn't find anything else in that roll, but the very next roll I found a 1957 Queen Elizabeth. That's one of the early ones for her. This is the 17th roll, and I finally come to my first wheat penny. It's a 1953D. At this pace, I won't be getting 10. I think I'm on track to get over 3 pounds of copper. But at this pace, unless it picks up, I won't get my 10 wheat pennies. Hopefully they'll get a few more anyway. Thought I saw some doubling on that one. This is my 18th roll and still just 1 wheat penny. Wow. Not doing too good. There's another Canadian. I think this is my 5th Canadian copper penny. That's all I've found so far is the copper ones. 1979. But just not... the copper is still good. You know, I said that if you're getting 8 to 9 per roll, then you're staying above the 3 pound mark, and I'm pretty definitely doing that. Just not very many wheat pennies. Yay! This is my 20th roll, and I finally come across wheat penny number 2. It's a 1952D. Take a look at those wheat stalks back, the wheat grains back there. There's number 2. I take these rollers and I take 4 of them and roll it up in one, so there's 5, 10. That's how I kind of keep up with how many I've done so far. Plus I take these because I've got a little fire pit outside, and I use these as my fire starters. Kind of silly, but it keeps me from filling up my trash cans. My wife and I enjoy sitting out at the fire and poking at it with a stick, and you know, we just get limbs from us and in the neighborhood, basically. Every now and then we'll even roast a marshmallow. I had kids and grandkids down recently, and they like making s'mores. They even went out and got the square marshmallows. I'd never even seen those before to make their s'mores with. I'm not a huge fan, but that's all right. I just like a couple of roasted marshmallows. That's an 83. And I don't like them burnt. Plus, it ain't good for you. But I can't stand it. I like to wait till the fire's down and it's just the red coals. Then I brown them all around. You can actually do that like 3 times on a normal size marshmallow. The 23rd roll now, and I get to wheat penny number 3. So, who knows? 1949D. First one in the 40s there. Have you ever heard the saying that the copper is called Dr. Copper, or the copper with a PhD. I hadn't heard it. I've been reading articles, and apparently it's more common than I realized. But copper is said to be the metal with a PhD because it has the ability to diagnose the health of the economy. I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. This is the 8th roll in the second half of this box, and I finally get to Wheat Penny number 4. Not very good condition. 1955D. What's the back look like? A little rough. So while I was talking about Dr. Copper, economists keep a pretty close eye on the copper prices, because if copper prices are going up, that means that there's probably a good job market in industrial jobs, which is an indicator that the economy is doing good. And if the copper is going down, depending on how significantly, it's a slower economy and possibly even pointing toward a recession, depending on how bad it's dropping. So, kind of neat. Copper's down from what it was about 2 years ago. So, I guess they're watching closely to see what it's going to do, then this last quarter of this year. Because almost everybody is talking recession around the corner. Hope that doesn't mean the copper's going to drop more, but it's just so hard to say. The fact that copper is being used up more than it's being mined, to me, seems like an indicator it'd go up, but that's not always how the market works, even though that generally seems like it would. Well, this is, I believe, the 8th roll into the second half, and there's Wheat Penny number 5. 1953, Philadelphia. Pretty good condition. I almost everything I read predicts copper is going to go up, and possibly significantly within the next 7 years. And almost everything I read predicts we're going to get into a recession, or market's going to, crash because we're living in a bubble. 1969S, look at that. That penny that I tried to find for several years as a kid. But like I said, that almost everything says that we're going to go into some crazy recession or something, or at least a fix, because we're living in too much of a bubble. And so does that coincide with article I was just reading? I don't know. I'll have to think about that. Hey, the very next roll, and I find another one. That is number 6. 1945, Philadelphia. Cool. If the market falls apart and industry shut down, that also means that they're going to quit mining. Because if the price drops too much, they quit mining. The only copper you get then is if they're mining something else and the copper is a byproduct. Otherwise, just the copper mines will just shut down. That has happened many times. And in the silver, when silver was real low, they just didn't mine. The silver mines shut. There's a lot of other mining going on that gets silver as a byproduct, and that's what we would be getting out in the market, is the byproduct silver. And I believe there's some similarity to that also with the copper from what I've read. Here we go. This is roll 12 in the second half of this box, and this is Wheat Penny number 7. It's picked up a little bit. 1956. Not anything really old so far today. Did you know that copper is the 3rd most used metal in the world. And the uses for it are increasing more and more. It's vital in electricity, it's vital in plumbing, and now it's become vital in high-speed data usage, computer world. And it is also extremely more used and more valuable, or I guess it's not the word, but it's more used and more necessary, I guess would be the right term, in our military defense systems with the higher tech military armament and defense system. They're using more and more copper now. Right at the end of the 14th roll, there is wheat penny number 8. So it is starting to catch up and looking like we might get the 10. 1942. I believe that's the oldest one yet. Here's the beginning of the 16th roll in the second half, and there's wheat penny number 9. I'd say it's come along well enough that I've got a good shot at getting my 10. Maybe even one or more than that. Not only the electric, plumbing, computer age, with the military, they're also finding more and more and more advantages to our health with copper, finding out that's very good for us. So the demand is just constantly going up. And did you know that the average copper mine in the world is 95 years old? Yeah, 95 years old. And the ore that they're getting, I mean, it's a lower quality. They're just simply getting less copper per cubic ton. And if any of these smaller companies, junior companies, startup companies, whatever you want to call them, in order for them to get their foot off the ground and get something started, prices need to go up for that to happen, because the equipment and startup cost is quite high. With just 4 rolls to go in the box, I came across this one, and I thought, oh, that's got to be one of those new ones, but that's a young Elizabeth there. That's a 1964. That is definitely the best looking older Canadian I've ever seen. I may just have to keep this one out and hang on to it. Put it in a little 2x2 or something. That was in awfully good condition. With just 3 rolls to go, will I get one more wheat penny to get my 10? I don't know. I did want to show you, besides that really nice Canadian that I got, also got a super, super nice 1973. That's really nice. I'll keep that one aside as well. Well, this is the last roll, and I'm still just at 9, so if I don't get it here, I'm not going to get it in this box. So the question is, when is copper going to go up if it's in such demand? And demand is bigger than the production. When's it going to go up? And most articles I read were from earlier this year, or even, I think that's like the 4th or 5th one of the 09s I found. Even from a year or 2 ago, and most of them said 2023. So, it's gone up just a hair in the last week. So the question is this now the beginning of the trend? This being the last quarter of 2023, and what I've been reading, the predictions are it'll continue to go up in 2024, but not significantly. But it's just going to keep rising up, and then like by 26 and 27, they expect it to go up considerably. That's what I'm reading. 1959. Too bad it's not a wheat penny. That would be the second one ever found. It ain't looking good for my 10 wheat pennies, is it? Right here at the end. Copper was pretty good in this row, but no wheat penny. We ended with 9 wheat pennies. I'll weigh out the 82s and get the copper ones over in today's copper and weigh that. I think I'm over 3 pounds, so we'll see. I got today's copper weighed, and not bad, just under 3.5 pounds, 3 pounds, 7 ounces. I got 9 wheat pennies, not too bad. I didn't get my 10, but I did get the King George, which I really enjoy finding those. So that kind of made up for it. Pretty good box overall, not too shabby, and I've got one more to go from over in eastern West Virginia. Two Sheds Gabby, I am back. This is the second box from my friend in West Virginia. This was the sealed box. And let's just jump right into it and see if we find anything. The last box, we got 3 pounds, 7 ounces. We got 9 wheat pennies. I did get one of the King George pennies. So pretty good box. It's a really good average that I shoot for, and anytime I find that, I'm pretty happy. So let's get right into this box today. I'll stick a couple of these 83s aside and weigh them. Oh, that's a nice one. A little bit scratched up, but it's pretty nice. Oh, the back is really nice. I like the rim. It's a real good rim on that. That's another good one. Golly. A little more damage. Hey, I've come to my first wheat penny. What do we got? 1958, Philadelphia. Couple of rows later, and we come to wheat penny number 2. 1948. Cool. I don't know how many of you are into any of it, but my cryptocurrency is going up. Bitcoin's back up to 35,000. I guess it's still moving up. It's definitely in an upward trend, that's for sure. So that's kind of cool. I own several different ones. I guess I own more of a bit. I don't know. I don't have a ton of anything, but I think I got a few $1,000s worth of different cryptocurrencies. I still have several rolls to go in the first half, and here is an old one. It's pretty worn down, but it's an old one. 1915 D, it looks like. That guy's been around the block a few times. Shoo-wee. He's worn. fun to find the old ones like that, though. Over 100 years old. That's wheat penny number 3. That's very cool. Not finding very many wheat pennies, but I think the copper's doing pretty good. Right at the very end of the next row, I found wheat penny number 4. 1958. I meant to say, in the segment before that last one with the old 1915, I actually went out of town for a day and I visited family and I bought an old used car. And there's a day in between those two segments. Anyway, I looked up before I got started here, going back through these pennies again today, and copper has gone up a little bit more. Day before yesterday, copper pennies were worth 2.4 cents each, and that's 2.42 cents each. So maybe that rising trend is happening here in the fourth quarter of 2023, and so maybe we'll be seeing them get up past the 2.5 cents mark here real soon. Well, a couple rolls later, and here's another one, number 5. They're picking up a little bit. 56, Philadelphia. $18 copper pennies in the last roll, so that's good. The next row of Canadian copper. This is my second one, by the way. 1981. Golly, 5 rolls to go, and I'm finished with the box. This was the very end of the row, and I find the 6th wheat penny. 53D. Not very many. I think I'm going to get 3 pounds of copper, but not a lot. Unless the last 5 rows have several in them, I'm not going to get my 10. There's a lot of color in that toning there. This is a copper too. Not as much color on the front, 1974. Well, I finished the box with no more wheat pennies. I ended up with 6. Several of the gnarly ones. A few other things. I think I got 3 Canadian coppers. Just not a whole lot of other stuff. But I did get 3 pounds and 11 ounces, which is more than the last box. So that's pretty good. If you're hoarding copper, you want to get over 3 pounds a box. I'm going to add this to my other box, seal it up, and see if I can bag up a couple of pound bags. Well, I got my 25-pound box sealed up real good. And that makes 8 of them, 200 pounds. Had 2 more pounds left over, plus a few more. And I'll add these 1-pound bags to my other 1-pound bags. And I'm going to start doing them like this for a little while. I have plenty of boxes to fill up with 1-pound bags, that's for sure. My work area is officially a disaster area. It gets like that every other day. It's a mess. Well, folks, that's it for today. Not as many wheat pennies today, but that's okay. Quite a bit of copper. Always glad to add to my copper hoard. I have now officially 200 pounds in these 25-pound boxes. That's pretty cool. I'm not going to do, for a while at least, any more 25-pound boxes. I don't know. I think this will just be easier to move around. I'll probably take it out of this ripped up box. And all these boxes have lids, so I'll just start putting them in there, marking how many I got in there, and then stacking those. I think that'll be cleaner and easier to do. We'll try that. Well, I am out of Ziploc bags. I need to order some more. See you guys.